Hey guys, it's Cameron here with Emerson House Buyers. Every week I bring you tools, tactics, strategies, lessons I've learned, things that help me build up a sizable rental portfolio, about 2 years. Today I want to talk about a Freakonomics, Freakonomics Radio. I don't know if you guys subscribe to them. They got some really interesting stuff. They have a podcast. So they had an episode that was it was called Everything You Always Wanted to Know About Money, but Were Afraid to Ask. And this is probably months old, honestly, but it was a very interesting episode. And they had 3 questions in a survey, right, that they put out there. And this survey, I'm going to ask y'all these questions, or you guys, depending upon what part of the country you're in, or yins, if you're from Schittsburg. So 3 questions. Question 1. Suppose, because I'm curious on what your answers are, and let's see how you compare to these other folks. So question number 1. Suppose you had $100 in a savings account, and the interest rate was 2% a year. After 5 years, how much do you think you would have in the account? So you have more than 102, exactly 102, or less than $102. So that's more than 102, that's exactly $102, or that's more than 102. Again, suppose you had $100 in a savings account and the interest rate was 2% a year. After 5 years, how much do you think you would have in this account? And we know the answer is more than $102. What's the lesson in that question? Lesson in that question is compound interest. So over time, each year, you have an exponentially growing interest. The actual dollar amount, the interest rate stays the same, but the dollar amount, it ends up going up like this. So you're making money, you're making interest on the interest, which starts out really slow but ends up really quick, or really exacerbated. And I've got another video, I don't know if it'll be in this one or this corner, but it talks about compound interest and how crazy it is. Okay, second question. Imagine that the interest rate on your savings account was 1% a year, and the inflation rate was 2% a year. After 1 year, how much would you be able to buy in this account? More than today, exact today, or less than today? So, number 2. Imagine that the interest rate on your savings account was 1% a year, and the inflation rate was 2% a year. After 1 year, how much would you be able to buy in this account? More than today? More than? The exact same as today? Or less than today? And we all know the answer is less than today. So what's the lesson in this one? It's about inflation. So if you have all your money stuffed in your mattress, let's just say you've got $100 in there, and the inflation rate is 1% a year, that at the end of that first year, your money now buys only $99 worth of value because everything else has gone up, right? So $100, let's just say, used to buy you trying to think of something close to $100. Let's just say $100 used to buy you a watch, a Fossil watch. Well, at the end of that year, that Fossil watch is now $101. And again, this is average, this takes a bunch of them, but you're losing buying power with your money. So that's what they're trying to convey in number 2, in question number 2. Question number 3, and the final question. Do you think the following statement is true or false? Buying a single company stock usually provides a safer return than a stock mutual fund. True or false? T or F, boys and girls? Again, do you think the following statement is true or false? Buying a single company stock usually provides a safer return than a stock mutual fund. We all know. Falso. Why is it false? Because a single stock is more risky. When you buy more stocks, you spread the risk. If you're all invested in Apple and that CEO, Steve Jobs, dies or does something really stupid, that stock price crashes. Whereas if you own a portfolio of, say, 100, 200, 300 stocks via, I would say, index fund, preferably, then if one company goes down, nothing happens. You're fine. It's going to be okay. Maybe we'll go down just a little eensy-weensy bit, but not 20, 30%. So the next question I pose to you guys, how did you do? Did you get 1 right? 2 right? All 3? What percentage of the respondents got all 3 questions right? What percentage of the respondents of this survey in the U.S. got it right? Got all 3 right? The answer, about 30%. No bueno, boys and girls, no bueno. So they did this simple survey across the U.S. and they've done it globally, and the result is about the same. All over the world, it's still about 30% of the respondents get all 3 right. So again, these are very fundamental principles. Knowing compound interest, knowing inflation, knowing diversification through multiple stocks so you don't have all your money in one investment that can crash and burn. Those are very important fundamental principles of finance, and they're not that difficult to learn. Maybe you didn't get them all right. I could have confused you on how I worded some of those or how I said it. But if you didn't get all those right, I would be very cognizant about how you're investing. I would take a step back and think about maybe you need to hire somebody or get somebody in to help you out, because I'd be a little concerned about the long-term success of your portfolio. And I'm not saying go to your cousin, your brother, your sister, or whoever, so-and-so's friend. Go to somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. Call up Vanguard, get a hold of somebody who really knows what they're doing, start doing a little research. One other interesting thing, throughout this episode, they mentioned that 15% of NFL players filed for bankruptcy within 12 years of retiring. That is the same rate or slightly more than men in their age group. So again, if you don't understand these principles and these basic foundational pieces of finance and how things work, you're going to find yourself, I hope not, but you could find yourself in a precarious situation, meaning you could be bankrupt. I mean, these NFL players making millions a year, millions and millions, and they don't understand the basics. And not understand the basics make it very difficult. I mean, if you don't understand how, I always use this analogy. I can give my grandmother, God bless her soul, 83 years old or 82, about to be 83, still kicking, meaner than ever. She does not fully utilize her iPhone. I give her an iPhone, she looks at it, calls people on it, and that's about it. Then she'll sit there and ask me, well, how do I get to this place? How do I do this? What's this? She has all the power in the palm of her hand. She can get on there and use Apple Maps or Google Maps and find where the restaurant is. Hell, it gives you the website and the phone number on there. But she pulls open her phone book, looks at the phone number, picks up her iPhone, and then dials it in manually. So if you guys don't understand this, don't understand these fundamental principles, it's like, stepping back in time and not being able to utilize technology, not fully understanding what you have and the power you have in front of you. And unlike with my grandma with her iPhone, where it's just a pain in the ass, if you guys don't understand this on your portfolio, you could be severely inhibiting your future. And I really hope if these principles, maybe now you get them, maybe, it was worded a little oddly. If you don't understand these, though, still strongly consider stepping back and reassessing your your portfolio and what you're doing. And maybe you don't even have a portfolio, which is even more of a case to start one. Okay, guys, that's it. I hope that was helpful. If it was, let me know. If it wasn't, let me know. I'm not doing this to make anybody feel dumb or feel stupid, but the fact of the matter is a lot of this country doesn't understand financial education. Thank you, government, for not teaching it in schools. We have to educate ourselves on this, and there's a lot of bad advice out there. So be cognizant of who you listen to. Make sure you're not listening to white-shoed salesmen and people who, act rich but aren't really rich. Okay, guys, thanks. Appreciate it.